Sigma males are known for being strong, independent, and almost impossible to control. They live life on their own terms, refusing to follow rules or submit to anyone else's authority. They see through social hierarchies, ignore status games, and walk a path that few people can understand. To many, a Sigma male looks untouchable, self-sufficient, confident, and completely free. But even a man like this can be humbled. And the only one powerful enough to do it is God. Humility doesn't come naturally to the Sigma male. He doesn't need approval. He doesn't chase validation. And because of that, he rarely feels the need to bow to anyone. He often sees himself as equal or above the people around him, not in arrogance, but in quiet detachment. Yet no matter how strong, smart, or self-reliant a man becomes, there is still a higher power beyond human limits. That power has the ability to bring even the strongest to their knees. This video will explore why only God can humble a real Sigma male. These reasons go beyond personality, beyond ego, and into the core of what makes us human. For the Sigma, life is about strength and freedom. But when faced with God, he's reminded of his limits, his dependence, and his place in something much greater. Let's dive into 9 reasons why even the most independent Sigma male can only find true humility in the presence of God. Reason number 1. Sigma sees no equals, but God is above all. The Sigma male moves through life with the belief that no one stands above him. He doesn't bow to leaders, he doesn't follow the crowd, and he doesn't measure himself by the success of others. He walks alone, seeing people for what they are rather than what they pretend to be. To him, society's so-called alphas, betas, or influencers don't matter. None of them hold real authority in his eyes. But God is different. God is not another man, another leader, or another voice in the crowd. God is beyond all of that. When a Sigma male comes face to face with the reality of a higher power, it shifts his perspective completely. Suddenly, he is not the top of the pyramid. He is not the strongest force in the room. He is reminded that there is something greater, something eternal, that commands respect without needing to prove it. This is the only authority a Sigma male cannot dismiss. He may shrug off bosses, governments, or critics, but he cannot shrug off the presence of the divine. The weight of that reality strips away his detachment and forces him to acknowledge that he is not above everything. No matter how strong his mind or will, God stands higher. That realization alone humbles him in ways no person ever could. Reason number 2, life fails under self-will. Only God can redirect. The Sigma male is driven by self-will. He trusts his own mind, his own instincts, and his own path. He believes that as long as he keeps moving forward, nothing can stop him. And often this works for a while. His independence and determination push him through obstacles where others would give up. But life has a way of breaking even the strongest willpower. There are moments when plans fall apart, when strength isn't enough, and when no amount of strategy can fix the situation. For the Sigma male, this can be a shocking wake-up call. He's used to being in control, but now the control is gone. That's when he realizes that his own willpower has limits, and those limits are unavoidable. It's in these moments that only God can step in and redirect him. Where the Sigma male sees failure, God sees transformation. Where the Sigma male sees a dead end, God opens a new path. But to reach that path, the Sigma must first admit that he cannot do it all on his own. That surrender is the first step toward humility. This isn't weakness. It's recognition. It's the moment the Sigma male learns that true strength doesn't come from relying only on himself. It comes from trusting in something bigger. When his self-will collapses, God redirects him toward purpose. And in that process, the proud Sigma finally bends, not to people, but to the one force greater than himself. Reason number 3. Ego crumbles under divine truth. The Sigma male carries a strong sense of identity. He knows who he is, he knows what he wants, and he doesn't waste time proving it to others. This inner confidence is part of what makes him stand apart. But beneath that confidence is still an ego, an image of himself built from his strength, knowledge, and independence. That ego is solid when measured against people. Yet when measured against God's truth, it crumbles. Divine truth reminds the Sigma male of things he cannot control. It reminds him of his mortality, his weaknesses, and the parts of life no human power can master. He might outthink most people, outlast challenges, or avoid society's traps, but he cannot escape death. He cannot create life. He cannot control eternity. God's truth lays those realities bare, showing him that no amount of intelligence or strategy can make him equal to the Creator. This realization doesn't just shrink his pride, it transforms it. The Sigma male sees that his independence is limited. His wisdom is small compared to divine wisdom. His strength is temporary compared to God's eternal strength. These truths don't destroy him. They humble him, reminding him of his place in a greater story. Only in front of God does the Sigma's ego lose its grip, because only God can show him who he really is. Reason number 4. Unanswered prayers show dependence. Sigma males don't like asking for help. They would rather struggle alone than admit they need someone else. But life has a way of forcing every person to face moments of need. Even the strongest Sigma male eventually asks for something beyond himself. And when he does, he often finds that not every prayer is answered in the way he expects. This experience can be deeply humbling. The Sigma male is used to solving problems with his own willpower. When he prays and doesn't get what he wants, he's faced with the reality that he cannot bend God to his plans. He must confront the truth that life doesn't always follow his design. That gap between desire and reality forces him to see his dependence. Unanswered prayers don't mean God is absent. They mean God is working in ways the Sigma male can't control or predict. They teach patience, trust, and surrender. For a man who prides himself on self-sufficiency, this is the hardest lesson of all. But it's also the most freeing. Because once he accepts that not everything rests on his shoulders, he learns to rest in faith. And that shift humbles him in ways no human failure ever could. Reason number 5. Grace, mercy, forgiveness demand humility. The Sigma male often sees the world in terms of effort and reward. You work hard, you earn success. You make choices, you face consequences. That mindset keeps him sharp and accountable. But it doesn't leave much room for grace, for receiving what you don't deserve. That's where God's mercy comes in, and it's something the Sigma can't control or predict. When a Sigma male experiences grace, it breaks down his pride. He realizes that no amount of intelligence, strength, or discipline could earn God's forgiveness. It's not about effort, it's about mercy. That reality is humbling because it reminds him that he can't buy, earn, or outthink his way into worthiness. He has to accept something freely given. This acceptance doesn't weaken him, it softens him. It makes him see that even the strongest man is still human, still flawed, still in need of something greater. Grace requires him to admit failure, and forgiveness requires him to admit guilt. For a Sigma who prides himself on control, that surrender is the ultimate act of humility. And it's one that only God can bring about. Reason number 6. Eternal perspective over temporal success. Sigma males often measure their value through freedom, mastery, or quiet achievement. They don't need applause, but they still take pride in their ability to control their path. Yet all of these successes exist within time, temporary, fragile, and fading. God, on the other hand, works in eternity. When a Sigma male realizes that his greatest victories won't last forever, his pride softens. Wealth, intelligence, reputation, all of it ends at the grave. God's eternal perspective shifts the Sigma's focus from what's temporary to what truly matters. He learns that his independence, while powerful, is not enough to outlast time. That reminder forces humility, because only God offers purpose beyond the short span of life on earth. Reason number 7. Nature itself proves God's authority. Sigma males are logical. They notice patterns, see through lies, and value evidence. Yet no matter how sharp their mind, they can't deny the power of nature. The ocean's depth, the stars above, the order of creation, all of it points to a force beyond human hands. For the Sigma male, this realization is humbling. He may outthink his peers, but he can't explain away the sheer scale of creation without acknowledging something greater. The order and beauty of nature remind him that his mind, while brilliant, is still small compared to the Creator. It's not human authority that humbles him, it's the evidence of God woven into the world around him. Reason number 8. Suffering reveals human weakness. The Sigma male prides himself on handling life alone. But when suffering strikes, loss, sickness, betrayal, or pain, his independence is tested. Strength carries him far, but not far enough. Eventually, even the strongest man hits a wall. In these moments, only God's presence can provide comfort, meaning, and endurance. Suffering humbles the Sigma male because it shows him that no matter how powerful he seems, he is still human, still vulnerable. Pain strips away ego and forces him to face his need for something beyond himself. God uses suffering not to break him, but to remind him where true strength comes from. Reason number 9. Love that surpasses understanding. Sigma males often guard their emotions. They prefer control over vulnerability, privacy over exposure. But God's love is unlike anything else. It's unconditional, relentless, and undeserved. When a Sigma male experiences that kind of love, it overwhelms his defenses. He realizes that no matter how independent or detached he tries to be, he cannot resist a love that sees him fully and accepts him anyway. That love humbles him because it demands nothing and gives everything. It teaches him that being strong isn't about never bending, it's about knowing when to surrender. And in the face of God's love, even the proudest Sigma male bows. The Sigma male can resist people, systems, and expectations, but he cannot resist God. Human authority might fail to humble him, but divine authority, divine truth, and divine love reach the core of who he is. We've seen how pride, ego, and independence crumble in the light of something greater. From realizing that God stands above all, to experiencing grace, suffering, and eternal perspective, every reason points back to the same truth. Only God has the power to humble a real Sigma male. This isn't about weakness. It's about freedom. Because humility in God doesn't destroy the Sigma, it completes him. It takes his strength and grounds it in something eternal. And in that place, the Sigma male finally finds peace, not by standing above others, but by standing under God.